15 men, 16 hours of searching, 2 silver necklaces, 1 inexplicable disappearance. These numbers set the stage for one of the most chilling true stories in Hmong folklore. As the search stretched into its 17th hour, something changed. A discovery was made that defied explanation, a find so unsettling it has been whispered about for generations. The cucumber field, once a place of growth and harvest, became the backdrop for a tale of terror. Tonight, we unravel the mystery that has plagued this quiet farming village, piecing together the fragments of a story that challenges our understanding of reality itself. The mist clings to the fields like a ghostly shroud as me and my sister-in-law step onto the damp earth of our family's cucumber farm. The cool metal of our zov necklaces presses against our collarbones, a comforting weight in the eerie stillness of the morning. I watch as we separate, each one of us taking a different row of vines. The cucumbers hang heavy, their green skins glistening with dew. The plants seem to reach out with tendrils like grasping fingers, as if trying to ensnare us. The silence is oppressive, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the soft thud of fruit hitting the bottom of our baskets. As I work, my mind wanders to the stories my grandmother told about the spirits that inhabit the land. She'd speak of how our ancestors believed that every plant, every rock, held a consciousness of its own. The cucumbers we harvest are a gift from the earth, requiring respect and gratitude. The zov necklace around my neck feels heavier with each passing moment. These intricate silver pieces are symbols of our identity, our connection to our ancestors in the spirit world. Some say they offer protection against malevolent forces. As the silence deepens, I find myself hoping those old tales are true. Time seems to stretch as I move down the row, my basket growing heavier. The fog hasn't lifted. If anything, it's grown thicker. I can no longer see my sister-in-law, though I know she must be nearby. The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end, and I can't shake the feeling that something is watching me from just beyond the veil of mist. I try to focus on the task at hand, but my movements become hurried, almost frantic. I strain my ears for any sound of my sister-in-law, but there's nothing. My heart pounds as I reach the end of my row. I call out, my voice muffled in the fog. "Sister, are you finished?" No response comes. I call again, louder this time, desperation creeping into my tone. The fog seems to swallow my words. "Please answer me." The silence that follows is deafening. And then I hear it, a soft, almost imperceptible sound. Not the voice I was hoping for, but something else. A whisper, perhaps, or the faintest rustle of leaves. My blood turns to ice as realization dawns. Something is terribly wrong. The basket slips from my fingers, cucumbers spilling across the damp earth. I spin in place, searching desperately for any sign of my sister-in-law, but the fog only seems to thicken around me. Panic takes hold, and I find myself running, calling out her name. The mist parts and reforms as I stumble through the field, my feet catching on vines that seem to reach up to trip me. The zov necklace bounces against my chest with each frantic step, its weight a reminder of all that we hold dear, and all that we stand to lose. The cucumber vines part beneath my trembling fingers, revealing an empty basket. My sister-in-law's absence hangs heavy in the air, but it's the glint of silver nestled among the leaves that makes my veins run cold. I reach down, grasping the familiar curve of her zov necklace. This precious symbol of her identity, her connection to our ancestors, feels wrong in my palm, a stark reminder of her unexplained vanishing. I call out her name again, my voice hoarse and desperate. The fog swallows my words, muffling them as if the very air conspires to keep her hidden. I stumble forward, feet catching on vines that seem to reach for me. The mist parts and reforms, revealing fleeting glimpses of the empty field before shrouding it once more. As I search, my grandmother's warnings echo in my mind. She spoke of spirits that could interact with our world, of unseen forces that held sway over life and afterlife. Those tales, once distant folklore, now take on a chilling new reality. My heart pounds as I consider the possibilities. Could a spirit have taken her? The thought sends a shiver down my spine, but I can't dismiss it. In our culture, the line between the physical and spiritual worlds is thin, easily crossed by those who know the way, or by those unfortunate enough to stumble through. An instinct draws me towards the river that borders our farm. In Hmong culture, rivers are pathways for spirits, places where our world and theirs intersect. As I approach, the sound of rushing water grows louder, drowning out my ragged breathing. The riverbank is shrouded in mist, the water a dark, swirling mystery. I scan the shore, searching for any sign of her. Instead, my eyes lock onto another flash of silver. With trembling hands, I lift the second Zeuv necklace from where it lies half buried in the mud. Holding both necklaces now, I'm overwhelmed by dread. These symbols of our heritage, left behind like breadcrumbs in a dark forest. But what trail do they mark? Where has she gone that she needed to leave these behind? I remember the stories of unexplained disappearances in our village, people who vanished without a trace. We always attributed them to supernatural causes, to spirits claiming souls, or wanderers stumbling into realms beyond our own. Now, faced with my own family's loss, those stories take on a terrifying new significance. The river flows on, indifferent to my fear and confusion. Its waters hold secrets, I know, secrets of life and afterlife, of passages between worlds. I stand on the bank, the two Zeuv necklaces clutched to my chest, and I wonder, what chilling encounter awaits us in these Laotian farmlands? What unseen forces are at play? And will I ever see my sister-in-law again? A heart-wrenching cry pierces the tranquil evening air, shattering the peace of our small Hmong village. It's Lee, my brother, his voice raw with anguish. The sound sends a chill down my spine, and I know instantly that something terrible has happened. As I rush from my home, others emerge from their dwellings, concern etched on their faces. Lee shares the devastating news of his wife's disappearance. The farmlands that have sustained us for generations now hold a sinister secret. In our tightly knit community, his loss resonates deeply within each of us. As night falls, men gather around Lee, their faces a mix of determination and unease. Torches flicker to life, casting long shadows. We arm ourselves with farming tools and courage, preparing to face whatever lurks in the darkness. The initial search is filled with nervous energy. Voices call out, echoing through misty fields. We move as one, our eyes scanning every shadow. But as daylight fades, I notice a shift in the group's demeanor. Confidence wavers, replaced by growing dread. Darkness settles like a heavy blanket, bringing unsettling silence. The torchlight barely penetrates the gloom, and every rustle makes us jump. I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched by something otherworldly. Strange occurrences plague our search. Tools disappear and reappear unexpectedly. Whispers float on the wind, just out of earshot. The air grows thick with an oppressive energy. I recall our elders' warnings about dangers lurking in darkness, malevolent spirits that roam after sunset, tricking minds and leading the unwary astray. These tales now feel terrifyingly real. Fear begins to fracture our unity. Even the bravest huddle closer, gripping weapons tightly. Yet we push on, Lee's quiet sobs reminding us why we're here. We've faced hardships before, but never a threat we can't see or understand. At the farmland's edge, where fields meet forest, I realize how a simple cucumber picking trip became this nightmare. Suddenly, a haunting sound cuts through. A woman's voice, distorted and unnatural. Lee freezes, eyes wide with recognition and fear. We venture towards the sound, determined to find his wife no matter what. The voice echoes through the forest, familiar yet chilling. I watch as Lee's eyes widen, a mix of hope and terror etched across his face. His wife's voice, impossibly clear in the oppressive gloom, calls out his name. My heart races, torn between the allure of a miracle and the cold dread creeping up my spine. Lee takes a hesitant step forward, his hand trembling as he reaches out. The other men in our search party shift uneasily, weapons clutched tight. Fear flickers in their eyes as they exchange silent glances, questioning what we've encountered. "It's her," Lee whispers, voice cracking. "She's alive. We have to find her." Something isn't right. The voice carries an unnatural quality that sets my teeth on edge. The forest seems to be weaving a tapestry of sound, each thread a lure fashioned by unseen hands to ensnare our deepest hopes and fears. I recall the stories of grief's power to warp perception. The mind, craving solace, can conjure vivid illusions. But this feels more tangible. Hmong beliefs about the voices of the dead surface in my thoughts, adding another layer of unease. We press deeper into the woods, following the phantom voice. Darkness closes in, branches reaching like grasping fingers. Every rustle sends adrenaline coursing through me. I can't shake the feeling of being watched, evaluated by unseen forces. Lee leads, desperation palpable. We follow, weapons ready. I'm uncertain what we're preparing to face, a rescue or something far more sinister. My farming tool feels woefully inadequate against the shadow's potential horrors. Suddenly, Lee halts. His hand plunges into his pocket, retrieving something small and metallic. A ring. His wife's ring. Color drains from his face as he stares, uncomprehending. This wasn't here before," he stammers. The implications chill us to the bone. If his wife's ring has mysteriously appeared, what of her fate? The boundary between life and afterlife blurs, leaving us questioning everything. As we stand frozen in shared horror, the voice calls again. This time, it's different. Whispers layer beneath familiar tones. Multiple entities seem to speak through a single vessel, words indistinguishable yet filled with malevolent intent. The moonlit clearing reveals a sight that sears itself into our minds. Lee's wife lies motionless on the forest floor. The silver gleam of her soved necklace, now tarnished with dust, and now it catches the moonlight in a cruel mockery of its former beauty. Lee collapses to his knees, a primal wail of anguish tearing from his throat. The other men stand frozen, their faces masks of shock and disbelief. The air grows thick with the scent of decay, mingling with the earthy smell of the forest floor. As the initial shock subsides, a frantic energy overtakes us. We can't leave her here, exposed to the elements and whatever malevolent forces lurk in the shadows. But the thought of touching her, of moving her broken form, fills us with dread. I remember my grandmother's warnings about an unnatural ending of the life cycle, how the spirits of those taken so cruelly often linger, trapped between worlds. We decide to build tree houses for the night, desperate to put distance between ourselves and the horrors below. We work feverishly, our movements fueled by fear and adrenaline. The familiar motions of construction offer a temporary reprieve from the nightmare unfolding around us. As we labor, I can't shake the feeling of being watched. The forest seems to press in closer, the shadows growing deeper and more menacing with each passing moment. I wonder if the others feel it too. The weight of unseen eyes upon us, the whisper of otherworldly presence carried on the night breeze. With our makeshift shelters complete, we settle in for a long and sleepless night. No one speaks of rest. Our eyes remain fixed on the clearing below, where Lee's wife lies still and silent. The moon's pale light casts eerie shadows across her form, and more than once I swear I see movement where there should be none. As midnight approaches, the air grows heavy with anticipation. I recall the stories my elders told of the witching hour, when the veil between worlds grows thin and spirits walk freely among the living. The forest falls unnaturally silent, as if holding its breath. In the stillness, I find my thoughts drifting to the customs and beliefs of our people. How will we honor Lee's wife, ensure her spirit finds peace after such an unnatural end? The rituals for those taken before their time are complex, designed to appease restless spirits and guide them safely to the afterlife. As the witching hour descends, a collective shudder passes through our group. The air grows colder, and an unnatural mist begins to curl around the base of the trees. I lean forward, straining my eyes in the darkness. Something has changed, though I can't quite place what. Then I see it, and my veins run cold. Lee's wife's head, which had been turned away from us, now faces upward. Her eyes, which I could have sworn were closed, are now wide open, staring directly at us. And on her lips, impossibly, horrifyingly, plays the faintest hint of a smile. The night air grows thick with an unnatural stillness. I feel a chill creep up my spine as I watch Lee's wife's unalive body from our makeshift sanctuary in the trees. The forest seems to hold its breath, waiting for something we can't comprehend. Her head turns slowly, methodically, facing each of us in turn. With each movement, her lips curl into a grotesque parody of a smile. The sight sends shivers through my body, defying everything I know about an afterlife. My mind races, grasping for explanations. I remember learning about muscular stiffening, how it should have set in hours ago. Yet here we are, watching an unalive body defy nature's laws. As her gaze meets mine, a terrifying thought strikes me. In Hmong culture, we believe in restless spirits, especially those who were taken too soon. Could Lee's wife be trying to communicate from beyond? The men around me are visibly shaken. Shao, the eldest, mutters, "Dark spirits. We shouldn't have disturbed her." His words echo the warnings of our elders about malevolent forces that roam after sunset. Lee leans forward, his face a mask of anguish. "What are you trying to tell us?" he calls out, voice breaking. The head snaps towards him, that unnatural smile widening. Slowly, impossibly, Lee's wife's arm begins to rise. Her finger extends, pointing accusingly beyond our view. The gesture speaks of unfinished business, of secrets yet to be revealed. "We have to go down there," Vang whispers. "She's trying to show us something." Fear grips my heart, but I know he's right. Whatever gruesome discovery awaits, we can't ignore this otherworldly message. As we prepare to climb down, the head turns once more, following our movements with eerie precision. We descend cautiously. The forest floor charged with an energy that makes my hair stand on end. Lee's wife's arm remains outstretched, guiding us deeper into the darkness. Each step brings us closer to a truth we're not sure we want to face. Suddenly, Lee stumbles. His foot catches on something hidden in the undergrowth. As he regains balance, we see what caused his misstep, a partially buried object glinting in the moonlight. With shaking hands, Lee unearths the item. It's another Zov necklace, silver tarnished and with dust. This necklace doesn't belong to Lee's wife. It's too old, too worn. The sight sends a collective gasp through our group. The implications of this discovery send my mind reeling. How many others have met a similar fate in these woods? How long has this evil been lurking in our community, hidden beneath the surface of our daily lives? As the first light of dawn breaks through the trees, we're left with more questions than answers. The forest, once a place of mystery and danger, now holds a burden far heavier than any of us could have imagined. We carry Lee's wife's body back to the village, our hearts heavy with the weight of what we've witnessed. The solemn process of burying Lee's wife unfolds in a haze of hushed voices and tearful embraces. I watch as Lee kneels beside her grave, his fingers tracing the cool silver of her Zov necklace. His voice cracks as he whispers his final words, a mixture of love and anguish that pierces the stillness of the morning. As we make our way back to the village, I notice the haunted look in the eyes of my fellow searchers. We've all been marked by this experience, our innocence shattered like fragile glass. The once familiar paths now seem treacherous, every shadow holding potential for unspeakable horrors. Word of Lee's wife's fate spreads through the village like wildfire, growing with each retelling. I overhear hushed conversations in the marketplace, see the wide-eyed looks of fear on children's faces as their parents recount the tale. With each passing day, the story takes on a life of its own, morphing and evolving. Months turn into years, and I watch as the tale becomes a cornerstone of our local folklore. It's no longer just a tragic event. It's become a cautionary tale, a way for us to make sense of the inexplicable and warn future generations of the dangers that lurk in the shadows. I find myself sitting with the village elders, listening as they weave the story into our cultural tapestry. They speak of malevolent spirits and the thin veil between worlds, using Lee's wife's fate as a reminder of the importance of respecting the old ways. Years later, I tell the story to my own children, watching as their eyes widen with fear and fascination. The tale has taken on new dimensions, incorporating elements of our cultural fears and moral lessons. Some versions speak of the dangers of greed, warning against the lure of silver and the spirits it can attract. As I finish recounting the story, my youngest daughter asks,
"But Mom, how did Uncle Lee's wife lure the man into danger?"
I pause, considering her question. The truth is, we never truly understood what happened that night. Was it a malevolent spirit mimicking Lee's wife's voice? Or was it something darker, something we still can't comprehend? The tale of Lee's wife lingers, a haunting reminder of unseen forces shaping our world. As I reflect, a chill creeps through my bones, transforming the once simple cucumber fields into repositories of unfathomable secrets. My grandmother's hushed stories echo in my mind, intertwining with Lee's narrative. These generational tales are more than entertainment. They're the lifeblood of Hmong culture, cautionary whispers of our deepest fears and beliefs. As shadows lengthen and night deepens, I'm left pondering the countless untold stories lost to time. What ancient terrors lurk just beyond our perception? The veil between worlds feels gossamer thin, threatening to tear at any moment. What forgotten wisdom might we uncover if we dared to peer through?